Timmy, quick, go run and grab Paul.
Why, Johnny?
Because someone's poisoned the water hole.
Someone's poisoned the water hole?
Yeah, the water hole. Johnny, go grab Paul.
I'm already standing right here. What are you yelling about?
Someone poisoned the water hole.
Who could do such a thing? Could it have been that Daggerfall cornwad?
What? Me? No, why would you even think that?
Look at him. He's wearing Morag Tong.
And Vicecanon of Venom.
Both of those are poison sets.
They'll know I did it. They'll know.
No, he's innocent. No way it could have been him.
Well, it's been a while since I released a build video, and it's the first time I'm releasing a build video of a build that I actually use all the time. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you, for the very first time, the Poisonous Pestilence. The Poisonous Pestilence is a PvP build solely focused on attacking from stealth and being able to have your enemies tragically and hilariously die from extreme poison damage. Even if you die during combat, there is still a large chance that your enemies will still bleed out serious poison damage and die.
But your PvP builds suck.
Huh, no, they don't.
Oh, alright.
The Poisonous Pestilence is a build also dedicated to mostly long-range combat, using really any choice of bow that you want, but I'd say to try to acquire a Nirnhoned Bow and put a weapon damage enchant on it. Your secondary bar is your frontline combat bar. Until the moment that you know you're gonna have to jump into the face of your enemy, make sure you get as much poison damage flowing out of them beforehand. First off, let me mention that I am a Stamina Redguard NightBlade with the Warrior Mundus Stone. I prefer NightBlade with this build because some of the great skills that come with it, which I will talk about later. Oh, by the way, I'm in the Daggerfall Covenant. That doesn't really matter to my build. I just want to let you all know that I'm a proud Daggerfall Covenant and it's the best faction. Now it's time to list the sets. For this build, you're going to want to acquire a 5-piece Morag Tong armor set. Personally, I have the helmet, boots, arms, pants, and shoulders for this set, all infused with the best stamina glyphs on them. Then, you need to get 2 pieces of the Vicecanon armor. Personally, I've got the jack and the belt. Try to get divines with the stamina glyphs on them. Then, for your fancy stylish jewelry time, try to get 2 rings and a necklace of Vicecanon of Venom to complete that set. Either robust or healthy, and throw some of the best weapon damage glyphs on them. Finally, for your weapons, you're going to want a Nirnhoned Bow for the primary bar and a dual wield Leki's on the secondary. I have a Sharpened Leki's Dagger and Axe, both equipped with the truly superb weapon damage glyphs on them. And now that you've got all of your incredibly fashionable apparel placed upon your usually completely naked body, it's time to learn a little bit more about this build. First off, the reason why you have Vicecanons, Morag Tong, and Leki's is simple. Leki's is just because it is the only set that gives you extra weapon damage for having just 2 items, but Morag Tong and Vicecanon are literally 2 of the most vicious poison sets to have. Viper is good, but not for bow builds. Vicecanon has a beautiful critical poison attack that leeches poison into the souls of your enemies, causing them to feel more despair than the 2016 American election. But remember, you need to get a critical strike from a crouched position, which is why a NightBlade is the perfect choice for this build. On top of this, we've got a glorious Morag Tong set, which when you have 5 pieces equipped, allows you to cause 10% more poison damage to your enemies from all poison attacks. And then there's your stupid bow. It fits in nowhere. It has no friends, no set perks, and is just disposable like a year-old iPhone. For attribute points and skill passives, I'd say go 60 stamina and then 2 in health and 2 in magicka. You're going to want to fill out all of the passives for your medium armor, dual wield, bow, assassination, shadow, siphon, racial passives, and as many assault skill line passives as you can, and finally Undaunted Metal under the Undaunted skill line. In total, if you've got things properly equipped and with your major brutality buff on, you'll be seeing weapon damage of 2900 plus with your bow and 3400 plus on your dual wield. Critical should be hovering somewhere around 40%, and because of that shadowy disguise, it doesn't matter that much. And now on to the most important part, and that is...
hold on, Kevduit. A question, if I may. Would you happen to have a recommendation of a specific kind of consumed goodness that you digest before you engage in intense player versus player combat?
Hey, good question, you Aldemary scum piece of dirt and fear bean. No! Food is for the weak, and nobody should ever eat food in this game ever!
Just kidding. I am crazily addicted to the Silverside Perch Pudding. Like, oh my goodness, gee whiz diddly doo da day. It gives me a high like no other.
Pudding gives you a high?
Sadly, I've never been very good at knocking back a couple of puddings.
Anyways, I'd say with this build, definitely try to get your stamina above 30,000 and your health somewhere around 20,000 or more. Magicka needs to be somewhere within 10 to 15,000, which isn't hard to get up, so try to use food that will benefit your health and stamina. Because remember, Fraglin couldn't get his stamina above 10,000, and look where he is now, 5,000 stamina away from escaping those shackles. And now for the grand finale of this build, the demonstration! Now at this point, I'm gonna need one peasant from the audience to come forth. You there! You look like an inferior mortal peasant nerd!
Me?
Yes, you! Come on up! We need to show the good people of the internet how this build works.
Okay, fun times.
So, remember that this build is meant for a single target and is meant to have your target bleed poison through their noses. Make sure that your first strike is gonna be super impactful, especially if you know you can get them below 25% before they exit their stun. If you're fighting in larger group combat, definitely stand behind, using your bow as your main source of attack and poison. On my primary bow bar, I have the moves Shadowy Disguise, Poison Injection, Lethal Arrow, Mirage, and Vigor. Shadowy Disguise will help you activate your Vicecanon damage by getting a critical attack from a close position, so I recommend using Lethal Arrow as your starter attack and immediately Poison Injection right afterwards. Mirage is used to buff up your resistance and practically makes you look like you're from Super Monkey Ball, so it makes everything better. If you're in large combat, using your bow with poison attacks is all you really need until you get up close and personal in fighting, which you will then switch to your dual wield Lekis of weapon damage fury. For your secondary dual wield bar, when your enemies decide that they want you to be more in their face when you shove poison down their veins, you're gonna want the skills Ambush for your gap closer, Mass Hysteria to fill your enemies' minds full of their greatest nightmares, Surprise Attack for a ton of instant damage along with a stun from stealth, Shredded Daggers to give you major brutality, and Killer's Blade to assure that if the poison doesn't kill them, you have to kick things into manual overdrive to then finish the job. For your ultimates, try to focus on rapid fire for your bow and incapacitating strikes for your dual wield. That way, when you get up close and personal, you can shove disease damage down their esophagus. The combos that you lay out for this build are directly based off of your own personal playstyle. I mean, I've just gone bar to spam certain moves to get certain poison out on them, but in the end, your main objective is to spam some serious poison dots on them before stunning them and beating the living tar out of them. But do you know how to increase your poison damage by 90% and how to stun an enemy for 30 seconds using only one simple move? And that move is...